So is it raining where you are, Lisa?
So we're cloudy today. So we've had storms the last kind of 2 days rolling through. So
Yeah.
how about you?
We had 2 beautiful days. They were glorious. And then yesterday afternoon it started raining, but that's okay because the flowers here are so beautiful. So
I,
you need it.
I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. It's
And we just
gorgeous.
started a pollinator garden last year to help with butterflies and bees, and that really went well. So we're going to expand on it this year. So you have all those indigenous flowers and
Yeah.
ones that help with that. Yeah,
Oh, I love it.
really, really pretty. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
The
that's fantastic.
grounds are beautiful.
I know. I can't wait to get out there in person soon.
I know. Yeah, indeed.
Hmm.
So Joe, if I didn't know better, I would say that you were visiting Seinfeld right now.
Yes, working from Jerry's apartment.
You're working from Jerry's apartment. I love it. How is Jerry? Doing all
He's
right?
he's doing all right. Still making
Fantastic.
observations.
Ah,
He's a
I
busy
love it.
man, Jerry. He's staying busy
Oh
out
yeah.
there, that's for sure. Mhm.
Yeah, he's a big hit here in the office. We had Joey has wonderful one-liners from him that make us all laugh a lot. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, we're about half of our attendees are are on. I'll say let's give it a minute or two, and we can get started. People are still signing on. And Joe, we probably we can have. I'm sure that we have two participants watching together too. So um, yeah. All right. Well, I think the first thing I'm going to do, and I'll probably mention it twice, is that if anybody that's joining us today has any questions, on the bottom of your screen, if you put your cursor over the bottom, you're going to see a spot that says Q&A. Just put your questions in there. And as the presentation is progressing, um, we'll be answering your questions as they come. And then at the end of the presentation, Joey will be reading some to us for Lisa to answer and things along that time. But I'm excited to introduce the people that you see here today in front of you. So we'll start with Mary Kate McLaughlin. Give a little wave there, Mary Kate. Mary
Morning,
Kate is a
everyone.
sales counselor here. Yeah. Mary Kate's a sales counselor, and many of you have already spoken to her or have met her. But she is truly a wonderful person to have the opportunity to work with here at Kendal. And then we have Joey Starr, who is our marketing coordinator and our IT master, who makes sure that all of these things happen very smoothly. So we love that. And then, of course, our guest for the day, Lisa Burns from LivNow Relocation, is going to have a wonderful, wonderful presentation for you. So, so Lisa, I'm just going to kind of kick back with you and say, that the guests that we have joining us today, some of our guests are on the wait list, so they've been waitlist members. They know quite a bit about Kendal. Other people are still doing their discovery and looking into where their interests will lie. And I'm sure that we have some people that have never connected with us before until today. Now, normally when we have a webinar, we're going to talk about, what is Kendal and what does Kendal do? So in a nutshell, Kendal is a continuing care retirement community, better known today as a life plan community. And we offer independent living and a continuum of care in a community setting that is it's really something to experience, and you experience that when you come for a tour and you meet our residents. But the big thing that we're going to focus on today is making the move, and that's what we really want to talk about. So I didn't introduce myself. I'm Lois DiStefano, and I'm the director of marketing, and we're delighted to have all of the guests that we have with us here today. And I'm going to tell you that you're going to find that this is going to be a very valuable time spent. So I think, and I've heard, that the three most stressful times in our lives are weddings, funerals, and moving. And if you want to get stressed out, any of those three will do it. But I think that we're going to be able to knock moving off the list after people see what you can do, Lisa. And the approach that LivNow has taken is that everything that's involved in a move is managed. That's what you do. You're the manager that takes you through each step. And there are so many steps. And if any of you folks here with us today think that you're going to select an apartment and then get started to move, that's stress. Okay. When you've decided that, yes, no matter where it is that you want to spend your retirement, that's the time you start working on it. And Lisa's going to have all these wonderful tips. If you wait until you select the apartment and you're going to start going through 50 years of quote unquote stuff, it's not fun. And with listening to the tips and how Lisa manages this whole process makes a big difference. That 2 years before, you can start working on your moving strategy. Right, Lisa? So it's
yeah.
never too soon. And that's what takes the stress out of it. That's the beauty of it. You guys have created the solution to people's moving problems. So with that said, I'm going to stop and I'm going to pass this all over to you and what your fabulous team does for folks.
Thank you, Lois. I appreciate that. And I'm so excited to be here with everyone. I am Lisa Burns. I'm the co-founder of LivNow Relocation. And Lois, I would say, not when you're thinking maybe retirement 2 years out. I say today. I started downsizing a few years ago after my kids moved out, right? Because why not? And just start kind of freshening up, lightening up, open up the space for more possibilities and allow yourself to live, right? Get out there and go. I think we all kind of built our homes. We did it for our families. We accumulated a lot of things, as you said, Lois, over 50 years, right? And now it's time to give that up so that you can free yourself to move on, to go do fun things. And so today I'm going to share a lot of great tips and a little bit more about who we are as a company and how we partner with the community. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let me get this in a slideshow presentation. So Lois, Joey, Mary Kate, can you see my screen okay before I get rolling here? Awesome. All right. Well, let's get the fun beginning. If you have coffee, tea, water, whatever it is, sit back. We're going to walk through some great information with you, and then certainly answer questions at the end and Hopefully you take a lot of great tips today from what I have to share. I mentioned I'm the co-founder of LivNow Relocation. Our entire team at LivNow, we spent years in corporate relocation. So we provided this same level of executive class move to families across the world moving for their job. So we understand the complexity of moving, whether you're going down the street or around the world. It's never easy, right? But as Lois said, it's our job to really help you manage through that so it's an easier process. She mentioned too the Q&A. So go ahead and put questions in there as we go along today, and we will be sure to answer those. And then just to keep everybody active today, we're going to do some polls. So we're going to actually ask a couple questions and have you go ahead and answer those. So I'm actually going to start off today with a poll. And our first poll question is, how long have you lived in your home? So go ahead, and Joe is going to put, there you go, put up the poll for you and select if you've lived in your home 0 to 5 years, maybe you moved recently, 16 to 25 years, 26 years or more. And I will say, when I'm in person at a lot of my events, last week I had someone that's lived in their home 62 years, right? So that's amazing. That's a long time. So I'll give you a few seconds to go ahead and select which option fits you best. And then Joey, once you see most of those returned, we can go ahead and share the results. Oh, there we go. Look at that. 58% have been in their homes over 26 years, and really 24 at 16 to 25. So right there, that's a lot of time in your home. So it's not something that we can just clean out in a day, right? It's going to take a little time to go ahead and put a plan in place to make that move. So go ahead and we can close that poll. Thank you for sharing that. And then I have one more question before we dive in. How many times have you moved? So for those that have been in your home over 26 years, you probably haven't moved that often, but some have been in their home for less. So maybe you've moved a few more times, maybe for your job. We've had several people relocate. So we'll go ahead and put up the next one. How many times have you moved? 0 to 5, 6 to 10? I know I've moved now 7 times, as I mentioned, and every time I move, I love that I keep downsizing, right sizing, getting to the right space in my life. So it's a good time to go ahead and do that. So again, when you kind of see where we're at some good numbers, you can go ahead and close the poll, and we'll see how many times people have moved.
Oh, they're still answering.
They're still at, you
Good.
got to count, right? You got to say, let's see, I moved from college, then I moved to the first apartment, then I got married, then so it's something you got to add up when you think about it. And I bet, I don't care if you move just, like I said, from college somewhere. Moving's not easy. There's a lot involved. All right, so that's a pretty good number. So 0 to 5, 65%, 6 to 10. So at 85%, we've moved anywhere from 0 to 10 times. And then we have a few of you that have done the over 15 moves, right? That's a lot. So awesome. Thank you for sharing. That's good information to know. So we can go ahead and close that. So as I mentioned, Kendal on Hudson partnered with LivNow Relocation to really provide you what I'm going to say is an executive class move. They care that much about the future residents moving in to make sure that they have access to all the right people at the right time to make this as easy as possible. And what I think is important is, Lois said, everyone's journey is different. Everybody has different needs at different times. And that's really where we come into play. We want to understand, what's your personal journey? What do you need to make an easy move into the community and really start living your best life today at Kendal on Hudson or wherever you go? But Kendal on Hudson is beautiful, so I would love to go there. So when we think about all the resources that we need when we make a move, if we look at the screen right now, I think you'll see on the left things you're very familiar with, right? If you own a home, you're going to need to sell your home. Um, a senior move manager or a professional downsizer, many people, when I'm out talking to different groups, don't even know that these professionals exist. And I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into what they do, but it's really nice to know that there are professionals out there that can help you through this process. You don't have to do it alone. They actually come to your home, they help you with the downsizing, the right sizing. They can even pack and unpack your belongings. So they're amazing individuals, and I'm going to share more about them in a few minutes. And then, of course, movers, right? Getting your things from your home to your new home, always a big piece of that. On the right side are a few things that maybe you haven't thought of. Bridge loans. That might be something that you want to consider. You take a bridge loan, you can move to the community, then get your house fixed up and on the market. So financial solutions that can provide you access to things you need when you need it. And then Presidio is an iCloud vault to digitize all your important documents. And we're going to dive into Presidio, and Artifacts is another technology that really lets you take pictures of your things, as Lois said, stuff, treasures, but you can take pictures of those, tell the story, and they live on. And we're going to talk about Presidio and Artifacts today. So I'm not going to go into a deeper dive right here, but when you look at this, what we've done is we've put together local vetted providers. And when I say vetted, we make sure they're licensed, bonded, and insured, and perform background checks on their labor. So we're doing that heavy lifting, and we're working very closely with Kendal and Hudson to who are those local providers that they already used and trusted. And we would put those local providers through that rigorous vetting process. And then we add to that because we know we want you to have choices. We're just offering up great options to you. You make all the decisions on who you use, when you use, and how you use them. I think my favorite part, though, is introducing you to Laura Barca. So Laura Barca is a LivNow dedicated relocation specialist, and she's here to work with everyone that's making a move into Kendal on Hudson. She is your personal concierge. Think of it that way. She really wants to know, what is it that you need? When do you need it? And then she's going to introduce you to those providers at the right time and stay involved with you throughout that process. You know, you might want to meet with, you may have a realtor in mind, but you might want to meet with a second realtor just so that you have two comparative market analysis and you're making a decision on who's the right fit for you. And we're going to talk a little bit more about realtors in a minute. But she's really there to be your personal assistant. So I think that's the best part of it all. And we get amazing testimonials from everyone that Laura and our relocation specialists work with on how much stress they reduced from their plate, knowing that Laura was there to help them throughout the process. And the nice thing is there's no cost to you for Laura to work with you on all of these services. She is there to provide guidance and advocate for you and introduce you. You only pay for the services you use. So if you use a mover, you pay that mover's invoice. Or if you use a senior move manager, you would pay their invoice. So no cost for Laura and LivNow to help you through the process. You just pay for the different services you use. We had a gentleman recently reach out to us from one of our communities. As you can see here on the screen, he said, my wife and I will be soon moving to a senior living community. We own our home and we must sell it. We've moved 22 times in 30 years with the Marine Corps and 5 times since retirement. We would like assistance in making this as painless as possible. And don't we all think that, right? And so we did help Jack and his wife move. And he was kind enough to send us this testimonial that in 33 years in the Marine Corps, we've moved 22 times. This by far was the best and easiest move of all. So we thank Jack for his service, first of all, but then for trusting us to provide this type of service to him and his wife in making this an easy move into the community. And I share that because, as we saw before, some of you have moved several times, And I'm sure you're probably feeling the same way as Jack and his wife when you're going through that. So when we think about making a move, if you own a home, many times it's our largest financial investment, and we want to make sure that we sell it for the right price in the right time. And I'm sure everyone on the call, when I'm in person, I ask how many of you know a realtor, and everyone's hand goes up. Of course, because there's over 1.5 million realtors around the United States. What I think is interesting though, if you notice here, 49% of agents only sold 1 to 0 homes in 2023. So what does that mean? That means a lot of realtors today, this isn't their full-time job. And why is that important for you to know? When you're selling your home, you want to make sure you're working with a full-time, top producing real estate agent that understands your neighborhood and has access to the right technology and the right resources to put your home in the best light and sold for the most money. And again, on your timeline, what's going to make most sense for you? I will share with you that I'm sure you've heard, read, seen in the papers, on the news. There's so much going on in the real estate market, from home selling very quickly because there's still just not enough inventory out there, to maybe the recent information about the settlement with NAR and the commissions. And so, I think there's a lot going on, and it's really important to work with those real estate agents that have a pulse on what's going on in the marketplace and can actually be that great support for you while you're going through that journey. If you haven't sold a home recently, just so you know, the realtors will come out, and we always recommend you meet with two, whether you work with our recommended real estate agents or your own. Always meet with two, and they're going to come out to your home and they're going to take a look. They just want to see your home, where it's located, what's going on, and then they'll do a comparative market analysis. And what that will provide you is what's going on in your neighborhood, what homes recently sold, who's on the market, how your home compares to that. So you can have a good idea of what's the current value of my home if I put it on the market today, and how long would it take to sell. And something Lois brought up earlier, and I think this is really important, even if you're 2 years out, it never hurts to meet with one or two agents just to understand, what's my home worth today? And what are a few things I might do to my home over the next few years that could add value to it? You don't want to do too much work. You don't want to put too much money in, because trust me when I tell you, a lot of people want to come to your home and put their own stamp on it. So that's really when you're working with your agent, they can tell you what you should do and not do, where you're going to get the most return on your home. And then they'll also make sure they do professional photography. So there's a lot that goes into it when you are working with those full-time top producing agents. All right, let's get on to our downsizing, because that's, I think, what we're really here to hear and learn. So next poll, have you started downsizing? Yes or no? So I will share with you, we moved from our home of 30 years. I have triplets. They went to college, and I told my husband, I think it's time to move. And he thought I was nuts. But I'll tell you what, it allowed us to really get through a lot of our things during this move. And now, lo and behold, we're in a 2-bedroom. I never thought it would happen this soon, but we're in a 2-bedroom. And I will share with you, I am really loving and enjoying not having to worry about the stuff. We're really taking advantage of this time and traveling and doing fun things. And I'm not worried about the things in my home anymore. I've really been able to give them up. And I think that's what you'll find as you start to go through that process. Okay, cheers, because 62% of you have already started the process. So congratulations. And 38, that's okay. No worries, because we'll get started today. I'll have some homework for you, so you'll get going. So by the end of today, we'll be 100% started on the downsizing process. Awesome. So thank you for sharing that. All right. All right, so we're going to start with a twist to downsizing. When we think of downsizing, we think of the things in our home, and I need to shred this and I need to get rid of that. But have you thought about downsizing digitally? And when I say digitally, I'm talking about taking different things in our home and really creating them and putting them into the cloud on our desktop on a USB drive, storing them electronically instead of physically. So let's take a quick look at some of the options out there to do that. And Presidio is one of them. And as I mentioned, Presidio is an iCloud-based vault for all your important documents, right? So if you're like me, the amount of information I have to manage continues to grow, right? And we need access to this information. We may not recall where we put it. Gosh darn it, I file things and I think I'm so on top of it and then I can't find it, right? So digitizing your important documents allows you to access things when you need it, wherever you are. You could be on vacation, you could be anywhere, and you can go right on your app, your Presidio app, and you can access your insurance card. You can access different information that's important to you and share it with other people based on who that person is and when they need it. So it's a really neat opportunity to, when you're thinking about those filing cabinets in your home and you're wondering, first of all, I need to go through all that paperwork. It's the perfect time to digitize important documents that you need to hold and keep close and get rid of the things you don't need. So that's why I wanted to share it. So I'm going to play a very quick short video about Presidio, and then we'll come back and talk more about it.
Lisa, is there supposed to be audio on this?
I'm sorry,
We can't hear it.
I can't hear it. Oh, thank you, Joey. You know what? We did it the last time and I didn't do it this time. Thank you. You know what? Let me start this over really quick. Hold on 1 second. Give me the thumbs up if you can hear it.
Every item in your vault. Make the first place you look,
Okay, hold on. Let's try that again.
Presidio is perfect for storing your most important documents and people and places and even things, because it's more than just another box to drop files. It's a fully mobile, digital vault designed for all life's essentials. Here's what it can do for you. With Presidio, adding documents is simple, along with notes, reminders, photos, and videos that help you remember why these things matter. Presidio also keeps track of valuables, from info to heirlooms to autos, both what you have and where you have it. Share your vault with trusted contacts, deciding who can access what, and knowing what they've viewed and when. Plus, items can be linked directly to people and places, like linking your car title to the safe it's in, documenting the full story on every item in your vault. Make the first place you look Presidio. Perfect for documents, people, places, things, and peace of mind.
Awesome. Thanks, Joey, for that. I forgot that when we came back the second time, I didn't update that. So glad we were able to hear that, because I think that gives you just a quick info on how you can use Presidio, which I think some of you may have access to digital vaults already. There are companies out there that do that. So if it's not Presidio, it could be some other company, which is fantastic. But I think what's really nice about this is it really does allow you, when we look at this screen, who are the people that you need to allow access to that vault if they ever need to access those important documents and things that are in there. And what's really neat is they can only see it, they can't do anything with it, but you can give them access at certain times. So who are the people in your life that are important? And then who are the people also that you need to track in terms of your insurance agent, your attorney, your doctor, right? The important people, the places. I think this is interesting too. Where are the things that are important to you? Do you have a safety deposit box? Put that in here so someone knows where it's at if they need to ever find it, and you're not able to share where that is. These are the things that you can now put into this type of a technology that gives quick access to people that might need that at some point throughout your life. But it gives you peace of mind knowing all this information is here and you have quick access to it as well. So you can put things like birth certificates, passports. I am a realtor in Illinois, so my license is in here. I just now, when I'm going through my files and I get something important in the mail, I take the picture of it, it goes straight into my vault. I don't have to worry about it. Some things I keep hard copies of because you need those hard copies. But now my filing went from several bins to just one small cabinet. And I think that's the goal, right? Let's try to reduce the amount of information that we need to store and keep it easy to find. The neat thing is you're in complete control, as I mentioned. So you can allow who has access to what in your vault at what time. So you don't have to worry about it. And then you can remove access at any time. You can change access. So you've got complete control over everything that's going on in the vault. And so as we prepare to make a move, whether it's in 6 months, 2 years, 5 years, whatever your timeline is, it's the perfect time to start thinking about tools you have today that might be different than what you thought of before. And Presidio or any technology that allows you to do this is a great way to start when you're going through the downsizing process, taking advantage of this technology so that you have it stored in an easy place. The neat thing is the team at Presidio, who we know very well, we are part of AARP's Age Tech Collaborative Group, and so is Presidio. And the owner, this founder of Presidio, came from DocuSign and many other companies. So they are extremely secure in everything they're doing on their platform. And if you go to their website, you'll find all this information on there. And actually, after this event today, you will receive an email from Lois and the team, and it gives you better pricing, negotiated rates through LivNow for Presidio. And then I'll share with you on Artifacts what we do for them. So this is, when we think about Presidio, think of those important documents that I need to store and maintain. And then I want to share Artifacts. So Artifacts is another technology that allows you to really downsize, but maintain the important stories and memories of the items and objects that you hold dear to your heart. So it's another technology. Again, when we're thinking about downsizing and you're looking around your home and you're like, but I really enjoy that painting or that artwork or that vase, but I'm not going to bring it with me. I just want to take the picture and tell the story and remind myself of these different things that I had. This is what you think of when you do Artifacts. So when I think of Artifacts too, here's a great example. We probably have bins at home. I do of my children. I mentioned I have triplets. I thought I needed 3 of everything. I didn't. They don't want anything. But what I did is in first grade, they made those beautiful art paintings and I saved it because I want that picture that they made in first grade. I now can take the picture of it and Artifacts tell the story. My son Shane took first place in first grade in the art show and save that. But I don't have to keep the painting he wants nothing to do with anymore, right? So it frees me up to say, okay, I can take the picture, I can tell the story, but I can let it go because I still can hold the information and memories to easily access and share with others. And so Artifacts is really allowing us to preserve the information that we want to without keeping the things that we don't need to keep. And I'm going to share with you another quick video about Artifacts so you can start to think about how could I use this when I'm downsizing and getting ready to make the move. And actually, it's an awesome thing to share with your children, your grandchildren. Everyone is getting involved with Artifacts because it does really allow them at any point in their life to start taking those pictures, creating those stories, and creating their timeline without keeping the items. So one more quick video here.
This bike was custom built for me. It's based on a bike that was my dad's. My dad took me to my first races. I'm always happiest when I get back on this bike. To me, the sentimental value is significantly greater than the market value.
This biscuit recipe was nearly lost. Grandma, why isn't the biscuit recipe in the recipe box? It was so insignificant to my grandma that there wasn't even a name for it. So I call them my grandma's daily biscuits. You have to have a coffee cup that is like old. That's your measuring tool. And you need 3 of those.
This was my great-grandfather's book. It came to us as household furniture when I was about 5 years old. Only 200 of these books on Union and Confederate side are still in existence.
It was quarantine and I really needed something to do. Painting is one of the things that I do to express myself. After the pandemic ends, I'm probably going to remember a lot of the sad memories, but then I look at this painting and I remember the accomplishment.
When we show it, when we artifact it, it has the ability to continue to live beyond us.
So you can see it's an opportunity to really take the things that mean something in your life and share it and tell the story. And whether it's artifacts, and by the way, you can do this on Zoom. If you have a Zoom, a free account even, you could set up once a month nightly Zoom calls with your family, friends, and you can talk about something that's important to you, an object, something you had, tell the story, and you can record that and save it. So what I guess I'm trying to share with you today is think a little bit differently about how you preserve your memories and how you're sharing the stories of those and being able to let go of items that just maybe weigh you down and you don't need anymore because you're able to share it and give it away. There are things that you'll want to share and save, right? And you can do that too. So here's another example, China. We always hear everyone's got all this China, but no one wants it anymore, right? But what's interesting, at my house, I had my grandmother's China, my mom's China, my China. And when I started to pack up and move, I reached out all to my nieces and nephews. I said, does anybody want, China? I've got 3 sets. And it was crickets. No one got back to me. My daughter, who was 23 in the house, said, Mom, I'll take great grandma's China. I think that's amazing. And by the way, I used to love when you would set up the big tables for dinners, for the events and all that. She's like, I'll take the China. Well, she's taking the China because it means something to her. She knows the story. She lived through the events with the China. So don't write it off yet. I honestly think you tell the story and you share it with your family, you'd be surprised who will say, I'll take that China, I'll take that bowl, I'll take that vase, because now they know more about it and it means more to them. So share the stories of your items and watch. You might just have people taking things from you. So think about it that way. This is just an example that you can take the picture here. You can tell the story. You can just do the story in 5 words, or you can write an entire book about it, however you want to do. But it just documents all the information about it. And you now have that saved and can share it with family, friends, whoever you want to share that information with. All right. I bet many of you, like myself, have bins of pictures at your home. I had bins and bins of pictures. I still do, because I still have some of my dad's, my parents, my in-laws. I have a lot of pictures that I need to do something with. And so I'm going to take my own advice and start this right away. You can digitize your pictures, right? Pictures sitting in bins we're not enjoying. We don't see them. We don't see them. They're sitting in a bin. We don't get to see who was in there, what we did, what the experience was. Here's what's lovely is we can start going through those and determining what pictures do we want to keep and what should we not keep. And we can create by digitizing them, putting them on the cloud, putting them on a hard drive, having access to them. You can share them with family at any time. You can create photo books right from different websites. It allows you to maintain pictures and share them without having the bins of the pictures that are currently in your basement, I'm sure, taking up a lot of room. So let's talk about that. Really, the first thing you want to think about when you're going to do your pictures, and I personally, if you have any family nearby, I would set a night out for them to come over and help just begin the process, because you want to kind of start going through those and sorting them, because you're going to find you have duplicates, right? You don't need three like I did, three of the same picture because I had three kids. I thought we needed three of them. We didn't. We just need one. Get rid of duplicates. Anything that, is blurry. How many times do we develop rolls of film and half of it was blurry, or you took pictures of the ground and you didn't realize it, right? You can toss all of those pictures. You don't need them. Awkward poses, I didn't look so great in this picture. Gone. People you don't know or remember. That's where I say first, maybe get some family together, go through some of those family photos and say, do we know these people? And if you do, you can make note of that. If not, you can throw it out. You don't need to keep it if you don't know them, right? So you want to kind of start through the process and eventually get to what are your top 100 pictures? And you can create a book out of those. Or today there's digital picture frames. So if you digitize your pictures, you can actually watch, it'll scroll, your pictures will scroll on a picture frame in your home. So you can see them in front of you. You don't have to go and dig out the photo album or the bin. You can just watch them right on your desktop. You can digitize your own pictures. I'm sharing here that there's a variety of ways to do that. There are apps that you can download on your phone to do it. I don't know if the quality is 100% there, but you can certainly do that. You can also buy a scanner. There's different levels of scanners that you can buy, and you'll get different results, obviously, with the pictures that you're digitizing based on the different scanners. So if you're looking for them, just know that they range from anywhere from 200 to 1,300 for those top scanners. If it's something that you're interested in and doing, it might be worth it to invest in something like that. Or there are services and companies out there that will do it for you. And I think that's what's really nice. So when you want to digitize, there's national companies like iMemories and Legacy Box. I've actually used Legacy Box once. It was a gift given to me. So I did have some videos converted, but you can also go to local providers. And I've got two locally here that I talked to the other day that you can drop your pictures off. They can come to your home and do it at your home, or they can pick up the pictures from your home and take them back and do it. I also noted here at the bottom, the photo managers. There is a website you can go to, and it's an organization of companies that just do this, and they're an association. So you know that they're all been accredited, which is really important. And there'll be a list there of where they're located, what services they provide. So feel free to take a look at that. Here's what I would say in digitizing your photos. Sending them out, you can do that. What you want to start though is by creating different piles. And you can do piles that could be as simple as years. We think this is in, 1990 to 1994, if you don't know the exact date. You could do it in years. You could do it based on my vacation pictures, my family pictures, my other pictures. You can start sorting your pictures into different categories. And then when you're going to send them, you could put that into the envelope and let them know, and they can digitize them and put them in that order, however you want them. The local companies, where they're going to be a little bit more expensive, they'll actually come out and help you through that process. And then they'll go ahead and do all the digitizing. And once that's done, from there, they can even help you create photo books or different things, or put them on, like I mentioned, the photo picture frame, digital picture frame that shows the photos. So there's a lot of options when we think about our pictures, but it's not just pictures. So know the same is for your tapes, film, and audio. They can actually convert all of this for you. So it's digital and you have easy access to it. So when you're thinking about it, I know we've had plenty of film from my grandparents that's on the 16 millimeter. I have VHS video. I have so many different, right, throughout the years. these companies can actually convert those for you. And now you can watch the old movies and really easy. And you can share them. You can share them with friends, family, grandchildren. They would love to see videos from when you were younger. So to me, this is something, a gift you do for yourself and for your family to be able to really preserve the information and the memories. And it's a great thing to be doing as you're downsizing. Great resources and tools. When you do send it out, as I mentioned, they kind of provide you those prepackaged boxes and envelopes. You go ahead and put in there what you want and you ship it, and then they send it back with your originals. So, but then if you go local, just know that they can come out, you can drop them off. So it's just more of a local feel versus a national, and you're sending it. Okay, let's touch on traditional downsizing as we get to the final today. I mentioned the senior move manager before. A senior move manager is a professional that works directly with families in helping them sort through their items and decide what to keep, what to donate. They even have access to estate planners, appraisal companies, if you want to determine what something's worth. So these individuals are fantastic. They will come out to your home and do a 1 hour free consultation with you. So they'll share with you what they do. They kind of look through your home. You talk through what you might want help with, and then they'll put together their pricing estimate and share that with you. And you can decide what you want to do. Maybe you just want to do 1 or 2 things, or you want to do everything they have listed. You decide, and then they can help you with that. One thing they do that's really nice is they can help you with your floor planning as well. So when you're selecting a new home at Kendal on Hudson, they can take the floor plan with the exact measurements. They'll take the items you want to bring with and they'll measure them and help with planning and designing where they can go in your new space. And really, it allows you now to know, what am I taking with me that's going to go to my new home? And then what can I go ahead and start, donating, selling, giving away, that kind of thing. They also will pack. So they will physically pack all your items and then they will unpack them in your new home where they belong. Literally, they take pictures, they put everything back on the shelf where you had it. So the day you move in that night, you can come home to your new home at Kendal on Hudson, walk in the door, and you're ready to live your life. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to put it away. You just go in and enjoy. And to me, that's the best thing ever, because it can be very challenging when you've got to go through boxes and do all that. So just know that these professionals are out there and they can help you. And Laura can introduce you to a couple of them so you can meet with a few. You make that decision on what you want to do, but we've got access to those individuals in your market. And I think I said this earlier, but just to know, whether you're moving locally there or you're moving across the United States, we can support you from wherever you're moving from to the community. We have these same local providers where you live, so we can manage that for you, just so you know. I think this is the easiest way to get started when we think about downsizing. Take a very unemotional area, right? Tupperware. Who has Tupperware, or those containers that we save because we went out to dinner and they seem really hearty and we want to save those containers to use again? We don't need them. Go through your Tupperware. I bet you don't have lids. I don't. When I look at my Tupperware cabinet, I'm like, I don't know where this lid is, Go through that. That's an easy one to clean out. One thing done, right? Your linen closet. You'll have towels, linens, things that are old, maybe beat up. You're thinking you're going to save them for dusting. Don't. And you know who takes your linens and your towels that you don't want anymore? Are those animal shelters and rescue. They use those, need them. So if you have a local animal shelter or rescue, you can call them and ask them. And I guarantee they will take your donations of towels, linens, things that you're not using anymore, right? Pots and pans. These are the things you want to look at because you probably don't need what you used to use in your home. And those are really easy things that you can get rid of right away. All right. How many spatulas do you have? I had 13. Half of them were melted from the dishwasher. I needed to toss those, right? Look in your drawer. It's as easy as going to your kitchen and opening your drawer and looking, How many of the same things do you have? How many do you really need? Probably one or two, right? Another easy way to start eliminating things you don't need anymore when you have multiple. What about entertaining things? Crock pots. I used to have like the big entertaining crock pot. You could put several things in it. I don't need all that anymore. So those are the things that you can start looking at and saying, I don't think I need this. I don't use it. I haven't used it in a year. I can donate this. This could be used by someone else and get good use out of it. When you're thinking about the items in your home, do I use it? So really ask these questions. Do I use it? Do I need it? Is it something I really need? Is it useful? Does it add value to my life and does it bring me joy? You've probably heard, does it bring me joy before? There's a whole downsizing thing on that. But when you think about it, is it something that you really need in your life? And I'll give you a tip what I did. In each room of my home, I put a banker's box in that room. And throughout the week, when I would be in that room, I would look around and I would say, you know what, I don't think I really need this vase anymore. It was from flowers I received, and I've got 13 vases that I need to get rid of anyway. And I put it in the box, right? So at the end of the week, in all your rooms, as throughout the week, you're saying, I don't need this anymore. I could do without that. Put it in the box and then load up your car and drop it off at a donation center nearby. Very simple, easy to do. You don't want to get overwhelmed. It's just something in your daily habit that you're doing, right? The Ohio rule. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but only hold it once. Pick it up, decide, do I want it, not want it? Okay, put it in donation, keep it. Just hold it once. Don't go back and forth. Make the decision and move on. That's your rule. That's what you want to think about. Create those different bins, right? What do I want to sell? What's going to garbage? What am I donated? I would do a fourth. What does family maybe want? Again, you want to ask family, is there anything you want? I also recommend you can always do a dinner night, put all your platters and entertainment on the table, invite family and friends over and tell them they have to take something from the table, that you're not serving dinner until everything's gone, right? Now you just removed a bunch of things and everyone took it with them and you got it off your table. So think of ways that you can creatively, and then I had another woman tell me she had a lot of teacups. So what she ended up doing is she would put a little gift or something in it, wrap it up, and she gave it to each of her grandchildren and friends throughout the weeks. She would just drop it off. And so she was able to give away a little bit of her to all of those people that meant something to her. So think of the different things you can do creatively with your items and be able to give those back. But by setting up these little bins, it allows you to start focused on what are we keeping, what are we selling? And then really consider your future life, right? You think about your garage, you don't have to rake it, Kendall and Hudson, unless you all tell me differently, Mary Kate and Lois, do they have to get out and rake the leaves in the fall or clean the gutters? No, right?
Absolutely.
So those things you can start getting rid of, right? And I shared with the team before when we moved, this is the first fall that I loved watching every leaf drop on the ground because I didn't have to pick it up. I just got to enjoy it, right? And the same with the snow. The snow came and I was like, oh, it's beautiful because I don't have to deal with it, right? Think of all the things that you don't have to deal with when you make the move. So start thinking about your future and the things that you're going to need and not need in your new home. We touched on the whole kind of important documents and downsizing and digitizing. It's really great to start thinking about, junk mail can go away. Any mail that comes in today, if it's junk, throw it out. If it's anything sensitive, you want to put it to the side. Those are the things you want to shred. There are shredding events in your area. If you go to your local village website, they'll tell you when they're doing, and now is the hot time, spring shredding. They do shredding events. They can come to your home. There's companies will come to your home. You can bring it to them. So start thinking about the filing cabinet. Just do one file cabinet at a time, not the whole thing. That would take too long. And start thinking about what do I need to keep? What can I shred? What can go in the garbage? It's a great one. electronics too. So they have electronic opportunities, those events. I did see locally there, I think you can actually put it out at the end of your driveway, many of it, but you want to call and make sure with your village what they allow and don't allow for those types of items. And then what sells, right? You might be thinking in your home, what are the things that I could actually sell that have value? And I will share with you, this is not an easy thing because some things you think there's no value and they actually might, right? It was interesting to learn that vintage Corning, what's it? I'm losing my mind on what it was called. Corningware, right? There are vintage ones that actually have value because people want to add to their collection, right? To me, I wouldn't even think of that. So you want to understand what you have and what the value is if you think that there's an opportunity there. And we've got local companies that can do that, can provide appraisals for different things. The mid-century furniture is hot right now. That is a hot item. My parents, my father-in-law passed away and they had mid-century tables, beautiful things. And I went online and I don't know what they purchased it for, but I could sell it today for $5,000. This console that's 55 years old, right? Like you just don't know for sure. So I think sometimes it's better to just find out and ask. But many times we think that there might be value in Beanie Babies and there isn't, right? There might be a few that hold something valuable, but don't. So it's important to kind of think about what it is. I would say some of the top things that you might think about are comic books, and they're all vintage, like vintage comic books, baseball cards. I mentioned the bakeware, the Corningware, and coins, right? Vintage coins, toys. I guess there's a 1963 G.I. Joe prototype that featured like a hand-sewn outfit and painted face, and it sold for $200,000 in 2003. It was donated to the Library of Congress in 2018. But if someone didn't know it was a G.I. Joe original 1960, it probably looked like it was some old doll toy and it would go in the garbage, right? So I'm just, stamps, there are a lot of things. So think about what you have and you can do a little research yourself right online. You can go online and actually a lot of places you can do your own research, but then you can also have people come in and they can do those types of appraisals for you as well. All right. So let's wrap this up. Here's some quick downsizing tips. Besides digitizing, get started now. As I mentioned, it doesn't matter if you're moving in 3 months or 2 years, or like myself, I already started this process in my life. It's better to start earlier than later. So today I would say, go ahead and get started and start small. Just do one drawer. I say today, go in, open the drawer where you have all those utensils with all the spatulas and the spoons, and only pick out a couple that are in good shape and keep them and toss the rest. You've started. Then everybody today can say we've started downsizing and we're 100% on task, right? Set a timer. Set 15 minutes if you want. That's a fun way to do it. For 15 minutes, I'm going to downsize this cabinet, this spice cabinet, whatever it is. Set a timer. Maybe you feel good after 15 minutes and you set it for another 15 minutes, right? It's just start small and start doing it. And then stay focused on moving forward. And one of the things I will share, the senior move managers, what's nice about that too, is they don't bring the same emotional ties to the things you have. So it's harder for you because we get drawn in and we want to look at something and then we find something. We're in our junk drawer and we're like, I lost this. I found it. Now you go to another room and you've just left what you're doing, right? So senior move managers are great because they can keep you on task and they don't have the same emotional ties as we do. And then just keep it simple. Simplify your life by doing these little things at a time. The last thing I'll show you, and I think this is a great tool, for many of us, it's visual, right? Here's what I'm going to do in the next 30 days. On Friday, I'm just going to go through my purses and I'm to decide what I'm keeping, what I'm donating, what I'm selling, what I'm giving to family and friends, just my purses on Friday. On Saturday, I'm going to go through the current mail. What do I have in my current mail pile? Mine's like that big. What's junk? Get rid of it, right? Keep it simple. So each day you're tackling just a little something, but look what happens by the end of 30 days. You've already made a major impact in getting started in the process. So think about that as a great way to do it. And then if you do have artwork, what I think is honestly so amazing, and I love this, Kendal on Hudson has a resident group, and it's the Common Areas Furniture and Arts Committee. And they will take any donated art that you have or on loan, and they display it through the halls of Kendal on Hudson. So if you do have artwork, I would reach out to Lois and the team, or when you're moving, because this is something really nice and lovely. When I walk through the communities, I absolutely love seeing that artwork. So know that that's something you can do as well. All right, we're going to take one final poll and then we'll get to questions and answers. So, okay, we just spent, I don't know, 45 minutes talking about downsizing. Are you ready to get started? Yes, maybe soon or not yet. And if I see not yet, I'm not going to be happy because I gave everybody a very simple thing we could do today. So hopefully everyone's ready to get going with the process. And I will share with you too, as I mentioned before, we will share with Lois and the team, and they can send to you information on Presidio and Artifacts that you can learn more about them. And then the negotiated deals that we have through LivNow, if you're interested in those, using those products as well. All right. Yes. Woohoo. Maybe soon. We got you going. And then 2 are not ready yet. That's okay. You know what? Take today to digest all this, and I bet tomorrow you'll be ready to get going. So awesome. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate you filling out the poll and listening in. So the last thing I will share too, on our website at LivNow, we have articles on all this information. So if you are interested in learning more about Presidio, about selling your home and the different things, about interviewing an agent, we have information on there. What are the top questions to ask a realtor when you're meeting with them, or a mover, to make sure that you've got the right vetting process in place if you select a mover. So all that information is there for you at your fingertips. All right, Joey, we're ready to open it up to question and answers.
All right, and before I get to the first one, I just want to remind everyone, if you have a question for Lisa or anybody else, just to submit it in the little Q&A that's in the bottom of your screen there, and then we'll get to as many of them as we can. All right, so first one for you, Lisa. Ralph wants to know, does Presidio offer a dead man switch, for example, so another person can access my info only if I do not refuse their request to access it, for example, like if I've passed away?
Absolutely. That is built in there, and it's honestly one of the best tools, right? So on your passing, the person that you designate, you could designate 1 or 2, how many, will have access to your vault, but only to view it. They can't touch anything in there, so they can't change it or do it, but they can view all the information that you want them to see on your passing. And that is such a great benefit to those that when they need that information, they have access to it. So yes, great question.
Okay, next, some were expressing interest in knowing about pricing. I believe that they were speaking about the various services like Presidio and some of the others.
Yeah. So Presidio, if you were, so through LivNow, it's $99 a year for access that technology. It's $120 publicly, but through our company, it's $99 for the year subscription. And then Artifacts, I believe, don't quote me, I don't have it in front of me. I want to say it's around $49 for the year. And the neat thing with that, if you go online, I think it ranges. It depends on what kind of level of information you want to store there. But I think it's anywhere from 49 to 100. And that's just based on what package you select. But with LivNow, you get a free hour or a free half-hour consultation with the team there on using artifacts. So they walk you through the entire process, how to use it, what to do, all the great information on it. So you have a free half-hour meeting with them when you onboard artifacts with LivNow.
Okay, next, Merle would like to know if you can suggest how to sell articles.
Sell what?
Articles. Articles,
Sell
items.
Oh, items. You know what? Honestly, there's so many different options out there, and I would say it's totally based up to the individual and comfort level. Because there's a lot of places you can sell. For instance, I sold things on Facebook Marketplace in my neighborhood when I was moving. Our table, gosh, all kinds of things on there and it was just local people that came and bought and picked it up. What I would recommend is I would talk to Laura Barca, the relocation specialist, to understand what it is you're thinking about selling. And then she can guide you to whether it's just kind of a simple thing, or if you maybe want to meet with someone to depend on the value of what you're looking to sell, because there are estate sales, there's online estate auctions, there's so many different things that I would rather you talk to someone about it so that we can really introduce you to the right people or the right options for the items that you're looking to sell.
Okay. Next, Bert would like to know, does LivNow have appraiser services if we'd like to cash out on all the stuff that we've accumulated?
Do we have what services? Appraisal?
Yeah, appraiser services.
Oh, yeah. So if we we have appraisals people that can come and do that. Yes. So you just need to talk to Laura. Again, this is all. So what's interesting and not knowing where everybody is from on the call, I'm sure most are local, but if there are people from out there, it's going to be different based on where you live. So it's great to be able to talk to Laura to get the local and best option for where you are and introducing those local providers.
Okay. Lucy would like to know, what exactly does Laura Barker do for a person moving in?
So Laura Barca will do everything in managing the entire logistics and process from your current home. And then she carefully hands you off to the team at Kendal on Hudson to manage all the things in the community. So your apartment at the community is all handled internally there for your actual apartment. And Laura's there really managing and coordinating everything with your home, downsizing, movers, whatever it is you need to move from your home into the community. So think of us the before, and then once you get to the community, the team there is supporting you when you move into the community. I hope that answers that.
So
And Lois, maybe you.
if I could jump in there for a second. So in other words, so somebody wants to start downsizing. They can have and everything with Laura is free. So they can have a conversation with Laura and say, you know what, Laura, I really want to start working on my pictures first, right? And you can take each aspect of the downsizing and start to work on them with Laura's direction. So she manages all of the different parts of the moving process and walks you through it. It's not like you have to call everybody individually and try to think of who it is. Laura is the one there who's showing you the path.
Perfect.
Okay, Elisa, apparently everyone wants to see your face rather than that slide that says questions and answers.
Sorry, I meant to do that.
And just some good questions here. How does Presidio differ from Google Drive?
So Google Drive is a place you can store. I don't know the security on Google Drive. I don't know how long it lasts. I don't know enough about Google Drive to say that it's a good storage house. I do think that so Google kind of owns that information. Presidio, this is yours. That's your information. You have access to it. It's very secure. I don't know on the Google side. I can't say on Google.
Great. Another one, Kathy wants to know, if you don't continue an Artifact or Presidio subscription, do you lose all of your information and files?
You know, that's a great question. If you're going to stop using that platform, you can download, that's your information. So you can download that information and have it on a USB drive or wherever you need it. You own your information. Same with artifacts too. They don't own it, you do. So if you're not going to use it anymore, you can download that information and have it however you want it on a USB or whatever. Great question.
Let's see. Next, Victoria wants to know, are there people who will help me buy new furniture, and is there a company that can donate and sell things for me?
Yes, yes to both. So there's a company that can help you with the donation, and that's those senior move managers, or we can give you to the local donation spots that if you want to just drop off yourself. In terms of buying furniture, I don't know if you partner with anyone locally. There, a designer, Lois, that has helped families with purchasing. A lot of the communities have local
Yes.
designers that they can introduce, so we can introduce a local designer that can help you with that. And actually, we have clients that decide they've got great furniture, they just want to update. So it's just upholster, right? Just reupholstering something. And so we can introduce you to those kind of people that can help you with that. Absolutely.
Okay, Pat wants to know, what is LivNow's fee?
So there's no cost for our services. The community brought us on board to provide this level of support. And as Lois said, to have that one point of contact with Laura, to be there to just educate and advocate for you. She's really just a third party sharing those local vetted providers, but there's no cost for Laura's services. You only pay for whatever services you use. So if you use a mover, you pay that mover's direct invoice, right? Or a senior move manager, you pay their direct invoice. There's nothing you would pay to LivNow.
Bert would like to know if you could provide some specific examples of, say, like websites where he can perform that online search for how valuable his items are.
You know, eBay, actually, if you go to some of those sites like eBay, and you can search your item. So if you go to eBay and you pop in your item, it will pull up other items like that might be for sale. But you can also just Google collectibles, are my items valuable? And it's going to pull up different option there. I would say though, I would prefer that they talk to Laura and let us introduce some local providers that can share with them what's valuable and what's not valuable. Versus, I mean, you could do some searches on site, online 100%, and you can get some good information, but to really understand, I would feel better if they talked to someone about it versus just Googling to see what was there.
Okay.
Because Lord knows, I would throw stuff out and not know.
As would I. Thankfully, I didn't throw out any old GI Joes, or I'd be kicking myself right now. So I'm out of questions. If somebody else has something, you want to pop it into the Q&A, we're here.
I think this was wonderful, Laura. What I see in this is that it simplifies the process by having a contact, a point person that you can pose your problems to, and she comes up with the solutions. And you get a variety of contacts. So if you want somebody to come in your home and start downsizing, like doing the actual separations and donating, you'll give more than one name, but you've already vetted these people. You know they're insured. You know that they're legitimate, right? It's just not a fly-by-night person. Right. And the prospect gets to pick who they want to work with. So all of that time that you spend searching, looking, guessing, not knowing, is this person going to be good? You've already done all of that. And you have, quote unquote, a Laura there to guide them through the process.
100%. And I will share with you too, what we do find, and Laura's there, you know, you might meet with someone and the personalities just aren't the right mix, which is great. You say to Laura, you know what, I'd love to meet with someone else. No problem. Laura sends over someone, you know. So to your point, Lois, she's there really she's your advocate. She's there for you, right? And so she's really going to make sure that you're happy with who you're meeting with, how it's going. She's following up. She's working with you literally through the entire process until you move into the community.
And Kendall on Hudson couldn't be happier that we've developed a relationship for you to be a resource for our prospects at any stage of the game, whether they end up moving to Kendall on Hudson or not. I mean, you are an invaluable service, and we just are delighted to be able to open the door and say, here you go, folks. This is the easy way. You can take the hard road or you can take the easy one. And here's the easy one.
Thanks, Lois. We're excited to be here.
Well, if there are no more questions, we thank everybody. So Lisa, to just communicate what to expect as a follow-up, we're going to share the recording of today. You'll have the slides to share with us, and I guess we can also give the link of how people can contact you as well.
Absolutely. And then too, I will share with you the Presidio and Artifacts information so that they have that. And they can go there and learn more if they want about that directly. But Laura can answer any questions too as well. So they can reach out to Laura. So I will share with them. And so Lois, you can send that out. It'll have Laura's contact information on it. So they can actually set up a call, a meeting with Laura. And maybe this is good to know too. Laura is not local there. So Laura actually lives in Chicago where I am. But she is a phone call, a Zoom. She gets on Zoom with everyone. She does it all with her families. So it doesn't matter. She's literally a phone call away. So I'll send all that and you'll have that to share with them.
And you've been doing this a long time, and you are a nationwide company. So you know how to go into a community and search and vet and speak to providers. So it's your profession. You do this every
100%.
day, so it's
That's
great.
all we do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you'll give that to Joey. Joey is going to send all of this valuable information to our attendees today. You'll expect an email probably, tomorrow or to Monday, somewhere in there once we get it all together. But we thank you so much for your time. It was a wonderful turnout today. And you can be sure that as time goes, we'll do this again and have other moving aspects for people. But thank you, Lisa. Thank you to the team, and thank you very much to all of our prospects. Have a wonderful day.